You're running the risk of me dying. It will be nice. Okay. Yeah, I mean, this trial has been dragging and dragging and dragging and dragging. I once did a trial for 5 years, but at least it had breaks in between. Now this one, it's like the Orient Express. It just goes on and on and on and on and on.
Hello, members of the Court of Public Opinion. I am your host, Mrs. Independent, aka I am not a lawyer. And welcome to the Great Awakening Media, where trial analysis meets critical thinking. Here we don't chase headlines, we examine evidence, challenge narratives, and unpack courtroom strategy piece by piece. So stay with us as we are going to unpack this mystery of David Mathebula's arrest. Vodacom cell records evidence, and that was the end of story. But today we get to hear about this massive revelation in court that David Mathebula did not only appear in Kelly Khumalo's Section 205, but also appeared in a chapter of a missing OB. So members of the Court of Public Opinion, stay with me. Please watch the video till the end. Remember to like the video, subscribe if you haven't, and do drop your thoughts on the comment section below. And most importantly, please don't skip the ads. Don't skip the ads. As you do that, you are helping this channel financially and otherwise. And remember, the super thanks are welcomed as well. Thank you so much. Now, I have a clip for you. But before we listen to that clip, I want us, actually, after listening to that clip, I want us to look at these three things. One, we are going to look at why the state never brought any station commander or relief cell manager or cell commander to lead the OB or cell register evidence in court. Number two, we're going to look at the mystery of communication between Kelly Khumalo and David Mathebula. Three, we are looking at his alleged Nokia cell phone that hosted Senzo Meyiwa hijacked SIM card. Four, we are going to look at his alleged cell number, or is it his cell phone number or what? Let me know what you think on the comment section. Do you think it's the same story that was told about accused 5 allegedly contacting Kelly Khumalo? And today's video is for those theorists. I have 2 theories, but you'll get them towards the end of the video after we watch the clip about Mathebula's arrest and why was his arrest kept hush-hush. For now, let's take a listen at this clip.
The police officers also bring another suspect that they said was in relation to the Senzo Meyiwa case.
Manje ke ngale nkathi usaselapha wena usenzelapha njengo relief commander akhona amaphoyisa mhlamba letha omunye ke owumsolwa ke bathi naye ke kuwena unesandla kulecala lika Senzo Meyiwa.
Kunjalo ngafika ngathola kukhona umsolwa othize kwathiwa nawe lethelele licala lelo nantomazana ngakhona ukuba naye ngoba kusikhathi esincane.
Yes, my lord, when I got there I was informed, or I found that there's another suspect who was already detained for the Senzo Meyiwa case, even though I did not have much interaction with him because it was just for the short period.
And what is the name of that suspect?
Ubani manje ke lo msolwa igama lakhe?
Mangikhumbula kwathiwa uMuzi Sibiya.
If I recall, it was Muzi Sibiya.
Okay. And any other suspect also that was brought there? Is there any suspect that was brought there who they said was in relation to the Senzo Meyiwa case?
Ngaphandle kwalowo ke ukhona futhi omunye umsolwa owalethwa lapha kule station seni uthi naye ke unesandla kulecala lika Senzo Meyiwa.
Kunjalo Nkosi.
Yes, that is correct.
Who was that suspect?
Ubani ke lo yena?
Baletha David Mathebula owayedlala iKaizer Chiefs.
They brought David Mathebula, who was the Kaizer Chiefs player.
You also mentioned the name, Captain. I could hear this name for the first time. Even though I know this, he was a very good player of Kaizer Chiefs, David Matebula. I want to understand this, Captain. Was he brought in or booked in? I just want to understand the terminology that you use.
Was he broke?
Was he brought in or booked in? I want to understand the terminology that you use.
Captain ke uyawakhuluma ke ngelinye igama ke esiqala ukuluzwa la ikhona noma ke ngimazi kumdlali ke odumile ke weKaizer Chiefs ke uDavid Matebula. Ngifuna ukwazi ke inkulumo ngendlela okhuluma ngayo ke ulethiwe esuka ndawana thize noma ke baye bamfaka khona lapha kini maseleni wena.
bathiwa uboshwe ase-training bamletha emaseleni wethu.
It was said that he was arrested on a train and was brought into our cell.
He was booked in. He was booked in as he
Yes.
entered into the registers.
Yes.
Wabhalwa phansi kuma register wena. Yes.
When was that? Do you remember the year and the month and the dates when that happened? That's the current
Usakhumbula ke
setup.
usuku nenyanga futhi nonyaka ngalenkathi ke ebhalwa kuma register wena.
Ngisho angisakhumbuli kodwa naso lesikhathi sabontazi.
Unfortunately, I cannot recall, my lord. However, it was during the same period as and Danzi and them.
So you spent nights there in Velela police station.
Manje ke uthi yena lo David Matebula ke wachitha isikhathi lapha eVelela police station insuku lapha eVelela police station.
Kunjalo.
That is correct.
Thank you, my lord. Thank you, Captain, for your evidence. Thank you, my lord. I have no further
Okay, thank
questions.
you. Yes.
You know, I couldn't help it but to admire Advocate Nxumalo's strategy and the way he handles his questioning. You know, he is so deliberate and he is so intentional. I mean, for him to want to establish the distinction between the word brought in and booked in, that was extremely deliberate, because what he was doing, he was trying to establish the official status of David Matebula inside the investigation. You know why? In criminal procedures, those words carry completely different implication. So brought in, this can mean, and I say can mean, voluntary questioning, assisting police, being interviewed, or simply accompanying an officer. And that sounds informal and non-committal, brought in. But and another thing, it just means that person who is brought in is not necessarily treated as a suspect. You hear that? Now, booked in, this is far more serious. Booked in suggests formal arrest, processing into custody, detention records, allocation to cell, and classification with the police system. And once the witness added booked in as a suspect, now Advocate Nxumalo sort of achieved something important. He established that David Matebula was not merely interviewed, he was treated by investigators as a suspect in the Senzo Meyiwa investigation. And that distinctions mattered enormously. And now that we know that he was booked in as a suspect, clearly there should be detention documentation, there should be processing records, possible warning statements, cell register, OB entries, and movement logs. And if those records are missing, fill in the missing words. But now, do you realize how heavier this missing OB register it is becoming? It is becoming more and more heavier. And can we just add another layer to Advocate Nxumalo's strategy or thinking? Can we add precision, Bagit? Members of the Court of Public Opinion, can we add precision? Because it takes a skilled defense lawyer to, carefully listening to wording And this is where the courtroom strategy becomes so fascinating. So after this clip, I'm going to play you a clip, and after it, I am going to tackle those 4 points that I spoke about and give you my 2 theories as I have promised you. And after that, members of the Court of Public Opinion, let me know what you think about my analysis. And if you're gonna listen to the end, please drop a green heart. Thank you.
Vaitilingham also revealed Matebula made several calls to Mayiwa's then-girlfriend, Kelly Kumalo. The first, just 2 hours before a SIM swap was done. However, none of these calls went through.
So, since we have established that number belonged or it was associated to David Matebula, did that number at any stage have any contact with any number associated with Kelly Kumalo?
Yes, 27th October 2014 at 7:32, the number ending 3899 called the number ending 4358, which was on voicemail.
So if you just listened carefully on this clip, the one that we just heard now, you heard Dr. Sibanda saying since we established that the number belonging to David Matebula, but immediately he then said the number that associated with David Matebula. So now, the reason why I'm bringing this point is, remember I gave you 4 points that I want to tackle. Let's start with point number 4, the alleged number. I did ask if this was David Matebula's number or it was alleged number, but now I can tell you that it is an alleged number because it was never established. Okay, because Dr. Sibanda cannot say it belongs and immediately say associated. It's either it belongs to him or it's associated to him, like he's saying. So both cannot be true about this number that they are talking about. It cannot be belonging and associated. It's either one of the two. Okay, so I don't believe that the number belongs to David Matebula because it was never established that it belongs to her by the team, by the state and the prosecutorial team. Okay, 2, the alleged mystery communication between Kelly Kumalo and David Matebula. So now when you look at the call history that I just showed you, now I'll put it up here. It shows that the calls were one-sided and the calls were from David, allegedly from David to Kelly Kumalo, okay? Kelly Kumalo's number. But there is no history of them talking prior to Senzo being unalived. There is no records showing their communication 3 days later. Their communication was only the following day on the 27th, just before the SIM swap was done. 2 hours before the SIM swap was done, the alleged number of Matebula called Kelly Kumalo, not called Senzo Mayiwa's number. No, it called Kelly Kumalo, and all these calls, they went to voicemail. So now you ask yourself, why these people never spoke before? Never at all, but they spoke on the day of the SIM swap. Okay, you ask yourself, why is that? And there is no history after that between them. 3, I did ask Uguti why the state never brought any station commander or relief cell manager or cell commander to lead the OB or cell register evidence in court, because to me, especially with the allegation about Ntanzi using a phone while in custody, for me, they should have brought Ulona. They should have brought a station commander or a cell relief manager to corroborate this engine of allegation against Undanzi. And honestly, I mean, the alleged usage of Undanzi using a phone while in custody was incredible, valuable to the state, because remember, Advocate Baloyi took how long? Maybe 3 weeks or 4 weeks, questioning Undanzi about the calls, the calls that he made, the calls that he received, the SMSs, the loading of airtime. So in that case, you would honestly, expect the commands, the station commander or the relief cell manager to come and to corroborate this. I mean, the register was supposed to be the state gold mine. But once open in court, they started looking more like, unexploded landmines. And I'm saying this because, I mean, the logical expectation would have been for the investigating team to lead those witnesses early and confidently. If the state truly believed the custody records, OB entries, registers, cell procedures, I mean, those support, if they really believe that, those things, those registers would support their version, right? So, the state knew that this documentary evidence weakens their narrative. Why? Because, they know what they were doing. They knew exactly that, these official registers, once introduced, they become objective, difficult to spin, and they can expose gaps in police procedure, as we have noted during the station commander's evidence, right? So they knew exactly that these registers are dangerous, very dangerous to our narrative and to our case. So hence they didn't call either of them. But now let's look at my theories, okay? Because I promised you that. So they are just alleged. It's my theory. It's just an opinion, and allegedly, this is what I am thinking, okay? So if there is zero history between Kelly and Mathebula, Kelly Khumalo was likely not interacting with David Mathebula at all. Instead, a high-profile mastermind used an unregistered or illegally linked SIM card or handset profile under the soccer player's name to, look like they were coordinating. David and Kelly were coordinating, allegedly. So they just wanted that to look like they were coordinating, because remember, there are thousands of SIM cards and old handsets that are recut under fake, recycled, or proxy identities, like maybe an unsuspecting public figure. So this will actually show why a high-profile individual like Kelly used a device that is merely associated with Mathebula profile to create a layer of, insulation. But when that proxy number, Mathebula's number, calls Kelly's personal number 2 hours just before the SIM swap is done, she let it go to a voicemail. She doesn't answer, she let it go to voicemail. This is to secure her own legal deniability, knowing exactly who was on the other end of connection without creating a successful two-way voice log. That is my theory 1. 2. Two, I suspect it's a setup. David Mathebula could have been set up, and why I am saying that is possibly he was completely oblivious to his device profile or identity being utilized for this digital operation. Then he is the ultimate casualty of a highly coordinated multi-layered setup. Looking at the absolute lack of prior communication between Kelly and him, the timeline supports the narrative that his identity was weaponized as an insulation buffer for someone far more powerful. I mean, the fact that his device was central to the hijacking of the deceased SIM card points to a highly coordinated effort to control information and narrative immediately after Senzo's death. So let's start here. Why is OB register missing? I mean, if Mathebula was detained at Villeria in 2020, his presence would prove that state actively investigated a completely different leg of conspiracy, one that directly links the people inside the house to prominent figures. Okay, so by completely losing the OB, or maybe hiding the arrest from the OB, or dropping him from the final indictment, the state could present a simplified, narrative to public, a simple botched robbery, as we know, executed purely by 5 hitmen from KwaZulu-Natal, completely cutting out the complex, high-profile Johannesburg social and sporting network. That's why that OB is missing. Now, for his arrest to be kept hush-hush, I could tell you they were avoiding the media frenzy and the sniffing around Mathebula's arrest. Reason being, the media would have swarmed the Villeria station. They would have immediately started asking, the exact question that we are all asking ourselves. Why is a Kaizer Chiefs figure being linked to Senzo's death? What did his phone records show? Is there an insider connection to the house? That media noise would have completely derailed the quiet control narrative that the state was building around the current 5 suspects. So, in essence, they were avoiding unwanted transparency. That is all I have for you, members of the Court of Public Opinion. Until the next one, remember to like, subscribe, and share the video. Bye.